The Sixers? Are they giving up on Philadelphia?
Are they going to become?
Are they moving to Camden, New Jersey?
Joe Mazzulla is like texting him like animal attack videos.
I think if I was shorter, I would be in the NBA.
Yeah.
I grew too big. If I was 3 inches shorter, just 3 inches shorter, I'd be in the NBA.
Every time I turn on Ion now to watch a W game, I hear Stephen A. Smith going, on Ion! On Ion!
Jason.
Yes.
Let's talk about the most important thing first.
Okay.
Before anything else.
Okay.
Jason.
All right.
I wrote a new book, and it's coming out.
Yes. I'm excited.
Tomorrow, Thursday, September 12th.
I'm excited for this.
It's called Werewolf Lawyer, a Thomas Atwell legal thriller. Drove you to coughs.
It's just really funny to me. Ever since you told me the idea, it's just funny.
I mentioned you in the acknowledgments because you were one of the first people I talked about. Jason, do you think this is a good idea? Werewolf Lawyer. And you were like, that's a horrible idea. You should do it.
Yeah.
And now here we are.
Stay on brand.
Take the dumbest idea possible.
That's right.
And treat it as seriously as possible.
That's right.
I did months and months of research. I actually hired a defense attorney out of Houston. I hired him as a legal consultant for the project.
You walked around in your yard on all fours and peed by lifting one leg up.
I'm so excited for it. It's about a lawyer in Houston who he's the guy that the werewolves call if they get caught and arrested and charged with a crime.
Yep.
They need representation. He's that guy.
That's right.
He specializes in it. And I watched every werewolf movie. I read every werewolf book. Watched every lawyer movie. Read every lawyer book. There's a lot of good ones out there. Part of the reason that we ended up with Werewolf Lawyer was because if you go back and look through like lawyer books, everybody knows the Lincoln Lawyer because that's a TV show and a movie, right?
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. But if you go like actually digging through the books, that's a common setup in the books. There's the Lincoln Lawyer. The most recent one I read was called the Jailhouse Lawyer. Yep. There's one called the Southern Lawyer, the Street Lawyer. They're all in there. That's how we end up with Werewolf Lawyer. I'm curious your opinion on
Call me soon.
Oh yeah. That's a good slogan. His phone number is 1-888 Howl HOWL. He's the lawyer who bites back. It's so stupid. Thank you, Zuri. Thank you, Jason. I'm curious your opinion on werewolves. Are you pro or anti-werewolf?
Yeah. I'm pro werewolf, but I think it depends.
Okay.
Is it the kind of werewolf that loses complete control during the full moon? They got to be locked up. I think that one is that's not as desirable. Is it the kind of werewolf that can change at will? I think that's pretty cool. And then is it the, 50% from both categories? The one where they can change at will, but also during the full moon, they kind of have to change. But they're still kind of intelligent. They're not fully animalistic. That's, I think, the kind that I like the most. But my least favorite is the one that just is like completely an animal during the full moon and can't do anything but just kill.
The Benicio del Toro werewolf, where it's like,
the werewolf in London werewolf that just like full moon and they just are out killing. And then during the rest of the time, they're like, what was I doing that night?
And An American Werewolf in London is incredible. It's even amazing. On the rewatch today, it's still so good.
It scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. I was like, I loved it. When his like the dead people would like come and like talk to him and you have those visions of the dead people like, why'd you eat me? And he'd just be like, fuck, this is crazy.
A regretful werewolf.
Yeah.
That's the best werewolf transformation that's ever been in a movie. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Part of what ended up happening is I was researching for all of this stuff and I realized at some point in conversation with my youngest son, with the baby, that he had never seen Teen Wolf.
Oh, wow.
And so me, him, and Laramie watched Teen Wolf, rewatched it again. And that's a cool werewolf. That's a cool werewolf right there.
That's a cool one. That's a cool one. I remember being so shocked when there's the knock on the, he's turned into the werewolf. The teen has turned into the werewolf. He's like, what's up? Yeah, and there's like a knock on the door.
Open the door. I'm your father.
And his dad's also the werewolf. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. That's a great twist. I was each time I rewatch this movie, which, every couple of years we throw it on, I'm always struck by how open-minded the townsfolk are. This kid just turns into a werewolf in the middle of a basketball game, and everyone's like, "What the fuck?" But then he dunks it.
Yeah,
and they're like, "All right,
yeah,"
we're
because
in.
they're thinking state championship at that point.
State championship, baby. And he's a werewolf, yeah, but also he's averaging 42 points per game.
Yeah,
so
42, 10, and 10. He
so
takes
we're good
every
with it.
shot.
He's fine. He's an all NBA player all of a sudden. We're cool. We're good with it. We're fine. Shout out to townsfolk.
Would you draft him? Where would you draft him? Would you draft him number 1 coming to the NBA?
Like out of all fictional basketball players, or if he was just part of a normal class?
If he was just part of a normal draft class, obviously his stats go crazy on the full moon, but the rest of the time it's unclear. I think Michael J. Fox is like 5'7" or something.
He's tiny. He's a tiny guy. Here's the thing, though, Jason, because I remember I researched this exact thing when I was writing basketball and other things in 2017. His stats as a human are better than his stats as a werewolf. Like if you go back and like points, rebounds, assists, all of this stuff, they're better as a human than as a werewolf. So he's a hooper. I would draft him if I had the chance. I would draft him. That's a sleeper pick right there. All right, you want to start the show for real now?
Let's start it.
Let's start the show from Wondery. I'm Shea Serrano,
and I'm Jason Concepcion,
and this is 6 Trophies.
Jason Concepcion, and welcome to 6 Trophies, a podcast series hosted by myself and Shea Serrano, in which we comb through all the NBA news from the past week and then hand out 6 pop culture themed trophies for 6 basketball related activities. In this episode, the Indiana Fever streak into the postseason. The Denver Nuggets are in turmoil? Question mark? Josh Hart tries to calm things down at a live podcast taping. All that and more. Let's hand out some trophies.
I just realized as I was singing that song that I didn't tell. I bought a website to promote Werewolf Lawyer, Jason. Guess what URL I got? Where you go to buy Werewolf Lawyer.
Wolflawyer.com?
No, werewolflawyer.com was available. There's a billion websites. Nobody had done werewolflawyer.com.
I'm actually shocked.
I was too. I got it for $20 for a year. I own it. Go to werewolflawyer.com and buy Werewolf Lawyer. It's over 100 pages long. It's an actual book. I love it. The audio book is 2 hours long.
Is it you reading it?
It's me reading it, and then Laramie reads. She's like a newscaster, so she has updates throughout the case, throughout the trial.
Oh, that's great.
It's really fun. We do 2 sets of trophies: the big trophies and the little trophies. The big trophies are first. These ones are the same every week. First up, the Denzel Washington and Training Day Trophy, given out to whoever it is who had the best overall performance of the week. This week's winner, the Indiana Fever.
They're back.
For clinching a playoff spot.
They're back in the postseason, baby.
First time they were on a 7-year playoff drought.
That's tough.
And then they draft generational talent Caitlin Clark, who has somehow surpassed every expectation. And suddenly,
she's legit.
They look dangerous. She's legit. Dangerous. They start the season 1-8, and everyone's like, "See, told you." And then here they come. Her and Aaliyah figure it out. Great 2-on-2 team there, and then everybody else starts snapping into place, and all of a sudden, that Indiana Fever team is looking a little scary.
They had good players on the squad. They were a bad team for this interim period. and to start the season, honestly. But, Lexi Hull and Kelsey Mitchell had resumes, even though they had not been playing particularly well. But Caitlin is like a catalyst. You know who they remind me of? Watching them play now, they remind me of the Phoenix Suns, like the Nash Amari Suns. They play that
7 seconds or less. Yeah.
They play that. They play up tempo. They play like 4 or 5 out with shooters all spread around so that they get that high pick and roll with Caitlin doing a pick your poison type of offense. And then
terrifying.
Aaliyah just rolls down the middle and just kills you from the inside because she's got the one-on-one coverage. It's they're really fun right now. And then you just had Aaliyah Boston just had to put up a career high
30 and 13. What happened?
Whoa.
Yeah, it's if you're an Indiana Fever fan, I imagine right now is very exciting time. Very exciting time because you're on a rocket ship. A rocket ship up. But just if you're watching the league in general, this was their game against Minnesota. It topped 1 million viewers, which is the 22nd time this season that's happened.
Wild
and prior to this season, no game before since 2008 had drawn 1 million viewers. I think this is on Ion is where it was.
Every time I turn on Ion now to watch a W game, I hear Stephen A. Smith going, on Ion! On Ion! It's like, they should make that like that should be like the catchphrase for Ion, because legitimately every time I turn it on, I just hear his voice going, on Ion!
That's like their version of when you turn on Netflix and it goes, to-doom.
To-doom.
It's Stephen A. Smith.
Screaming on the Ion.
I would subscribe to Ion Plus if that was the soundbot. It's just very exciting. It's very fun. The playoffs are going to be great. I thought, I didn't realize this until they pointed it out during the game, or maybe after the game. Nobody on the starting lineup for Indiana Fever has any playoff experience. Zero playoff games played.
It's crazy.
And so the fact that they're playing this well, number one, is like, that's pretty cool. The fact that they don't have any playoff experience makes it all of a sudden, you were going to watch before, but now you got a super watch to see how do they handle it. What happens? What happens when that music changes?
You know what? This is a good. I've been thinking about this. What with all the conversation around the W and discussions about who potentially hates Caitlin Clark or doesn't, and it's, to me, this is like there was a lot of talk coming into the season about Caitlin and this really incredibly talented rookie class was going to face a lot of obstacles. There's going to be a transition period because, as there is for any college player coming into the pros. But you know what? It's also been a transition period for everybody. Like, this rookie class, and Caitlin in particular, is insanely famous and has been for like 2 years. Like, Caitlin's as famous.
Angel too.
Like, that's what I'm saying. That rookie class in general is like as famous on a basketball level as like any W player has ever been. Like, maybe more famous, and they've been that famous for a couple of years. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see now how they handle going into the postseason in the conversation, because I think a lot of this conversation around the impact of these players is generally like very, like, it's positive that everybody is up in their feelings. Like, some people feel I'm being overlooked. These are competitors. They should feel that way. Everybody should feel like, hey, look at me. Look what I've been doing. Hey, look at me, what I've been doing. Hey, look at me, what I've been doing. I love that there's that vibe going on, because now there's all this attention and people are saying, hey, what about me? They should be competing for those eyes. And I can't wait to see how they react. I think they're the most dangerous team theoretically in the playoffs, because you just said it. They have no playoff experience. They really have no like expectations. It's not like the Liberty where they're like, can we finally break through this year in what is potentially a down year for the Aces? It's not like the Aces who are trying to three-peat. It's not like the Lynx and the Sun who are trying to put together a resume after having like incredible seasons with MVP caliber talent on their teams. They're just like in here having fun. And I think that's like a really dangerous team to go up against.
I think that's a dangerous team. I also do not think I can go on this walk with you of calling them the most dangerous team in the playoffs.
In the sense that they don't like have any expectations. Nobody's expecting anything from them.
You say nobody's expecting anything from them, right? And then I think about in our notes doc, one of the notes that Zuri wrote down was, what happens if Caitlin/Indiana win a title in her first season?
There's some
expectations from Zuri. There's some expectations. No,
I mean, they've been talking about like Caitlin as like an MVP kid. Like I could see her on the list, but she's not like top 4 in the MVP. Like that's not going to happen. Like
I do what I want to see. This is my best case scenario. Whoever they get matched up with in the first round, assuming it's not Las Vegas, whoever they get matched up with in the first round, what I want to have happen, what I desperately want to have happen, is I want Indiana to win game 1. Just win game 1.
It's going to be scary.
And then let's see. And then,
it's going to be really, really scary if that happens.
If they get run off the court in game 1, all right, cool. They're, no experience, whatever's their first year. They weren't even supposed to probably be in the playoffs. But if they win game 1, oh boy. Next trophy. The Lauryn Hill, you might win some, but you just lost 1 trophy. Given out to whoever it is who had the worst performance of the week. This week's winner, the Denver Nuggets. Just in general, just the entire franchise of the Denver Nuggets.
It's a weird offseason.
The car is shaking a little bit, Jason. It's shaking on the freeway a little bit. Something's not right.
So a couple days ago, the Nuggets announced that they were re-signing Jamal Murray to a $208 million 4-year extension. That's the most money, most years, which they kind of had to do with all the guys they've lost recently. That said, obviously, Jamal's recent outings leave you somewhat concerned. He was not 100% healthy in the playoffs, but played poorly. Did make that incredible shot where he threw the heating pad onto the court, and that was a swish.
I thought you were going to say the game winner he hit over Anthony Davis. You got me. You okie doke me.
Didn't play great in the Olympics. To that's an understatement, I think. But they had to bring him back. And then in recent days, Zach Lowe, among others, have reported that Mike Malone and the front office are at loggerheads. To quote Zach Lowe, to a degree even unusual for the NBA, which is I
want some details, yeah.
That's an uh-oh. And then, of course, their big ad in the offseason has been Russell Westbrook, who, listen, I love Russ. I loved his career. Is he the answer? I don't know. To like the things that they need, I don't necessarily know. And of course, the team has basically bet on its young players, Christian Brown, et cetera. We will see where they go, but it's hard to escape the feeling right now in early September that the West is beginning to pull away from the Nuggets. Mm-hmm. Like, I think we all expect OKC to win the West, right? Like that.
OKC or Minnesota, one of those two.
And so you're already talking about a team that won a championship 2 years ago and is slipping down in the conference standings, theoretically. So I'm concerned. I think I'm concerned about the Denver Nuggets. Like, did the window close this quickly? I don't know. We'll see.
Whenever we talk about the Nuggets, whenever somebody's talking about the Nuggets, this thing of did the window close this quickly sort of seems to come up a bunch, because maybe we thought they were going to be championship contenders for a number of years because we're so used to seeing that with Golden State, for example. They won, and it was like, oh shit, Steph got a ring.
Yeah.
Now he's going to win like 5 of them probably.
Yeah.
And then that's what he ended up, he's got 4 so far, right? But I think if I'm a Denver Nuggets fan, I feel okay about we got a championship.
Oh yeah,
and then that's probably then we're probably not going to get one for a good little while, right? I might feel that sort of way about it. Were I a Nuggets fan?
Well, listen, as a Knicks fan we've been waiting 50 years or something for our next championship. Yeah, I would be like, great if we won one and then fell off the next couple of years. I'd be like, fuck it. Like, we got one. We may never get another one in my lifetime. But it's all worth it if you get one. I just wonder. It was so cool to watch them win it and to see Nikola Jokic finally get his flowers like on a national level. But I also wonder, was the front office like ready for prime time to lose? And they had to let KCP go. They kind of like had no choice in the matter. But to lose the talent that they've lost over the last couple of years and not really restock other than to say, hey, Michael Porter Jr. and others will pick up the slack. And then the fact that they re-upped Michael Porter Jr. In a manner that seemed like they just kind of didn't hardball him. And the details we're still waiting for the details on Murray's contract, but he's had injuries. Are there other stipulations in there that could potentially lower their tax bill? We don't know. But I'm left wondering if the front office, and I think Mike Malone potentially is wondering as well, whether the front office is ready for this level, to contend at this level over multiple years. It's an open question.
Right. Next trophy. The Dominic Toretto, I live my life a quarter mile at a time trophy. Given out to whoever it is who made a short-term decision with no regard for future consequence. This week's winner, your boy Jason, Josh Hart, for stopping Knicks fans from booing James Dolan during a live podcast taping.
Well, really, this should go to the Knicks fans for booing James Dolan in a very public fashion. So the Roommates podcast had a big live podcast taping, and notice how the budget has gone up ever since Jalen Brunson took a massive pay cut to return to the Knicks. Listen, don't pay any attention to that. Actually, forget that I mentioned all the money all of a sudden pouring into the Roommates pod. Please, erase this. But during the pod, James Dolan came up, and the crowd started to boo, which. Don't tug the tiger's tail, guys. And Josh Hart said, hell nah. We back, baby, we good. Basically calming people down. And I think that was the right thing to do. James is kind of on one lately. As Adrian Woj has recently reported, James is continuing his war against the NBA's revenue sharing structure. He's annoyed at that. He's also mad that the success of the NBA is hastening the decline of regional sports networks, of which he is a owner of. MSG airs, Knicks and Rangers games in the tri-state area. And all of which is to say, James, chill out, man. Everything's great. The Sphere is great. Everybody loves the Sphere. They're doing UFC in the Sphere now. Don't pay any attention to what's going on with the Knicks and to just enjoy what's happening in your general life other than that. And don't worry that guys booed you. That wasn't booze. That was, ooh, James Dolan. We love him.
It was ooh, not boo.
Yeah, it was ooh.
Like that clip from The Simpsons when they're saying Burns.
Yeah, Burns.
When they're booing Montgomery. So heading into the season, the Knicks, they have a big signing when they get McHale, which is wonderful. They had a tremendous showing in the playoffs last year. You lost Hartenstein, which was my favorite guy on the team.
There's nothing we could do about it, but yes.
Nothing you could do about it. All told, how are you feeling during this offseason about your beloved Knicks?
I feel great. I feel better than I have in years. I feel wonderful. There are obviously outstanding questions. What's going to happen with Julius's extension or lack of extension? Who is our starting center? who is our backup? Like, will play center for the New York Knicks? Obviously, a huge question. But I feel great. The vibes are fantastic. This is the first time in a long time that a Knicks team is aligned from the front office to the coach to the players. And I feel great. I feel wonderful. I can't wait for the season.
I can't either. All right, next trophy. The Daniel Plainview, I've abandoned my child. I've abandoned my boy trophy. I'm just giving out to whoever it is who's temporarily giving up on something. This week's winner, the Sixers? Are they giving up on Philadelphia?
Are they going to be?
Are they moving to Camden, New Jersey?
Are they moving?
Did that just slide out there like very casually? It's only... I looked this up because I was like, how far is Camden, New Jersey from Philadelphia?
It's really close. It's really close.
In Texas, everything is 5 hours away at minimum. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here, it's 14 minutes away, but it is New Jersey.
Right. It's over the state line.
It's over the state line. We're going to build a stadium if you want to come play over here. Their practice facility, their offices are there already. Come on over. Are the Philadelphia Sixers about to become the New Jersey Sixers, Jason? God, I hope not.
I hope not. Now, this is a thing that we've seen many, many times in the US of A with regards to, like arena negotiations. The Sixers want a new arena. They want a refurbished modern arena. They want the taxpayers of Philadelphia and Pennsylvania
somebody else pay for it, though.
They want somebody else to pay for it because that's the way things go when you're rich. You get rich because you can make somebody else pay for your stuff. And that getting the taxpayers of Pennsylvania to pay for it is a slog right now. So they're saying, well, if you won't do it, we'll move to Camden where all our stuff is, as you already noted. This would be a very weird situation considering that New Jersey would then have the Jets, the Giants, and the Sixers as teams that play in Jersey but do not have Jersey anywhere in their name if this did indeed happen, and I hope it doesn't happen. I just hope it doesn't happen. I hope they find a way that doesn't involve the taxpayers having to kick in for it, because I think you got to keep the Sixers in Philadelphia. That's where they belong.
That's where they belong, yes. Even if they're like, you don't have to change your name, you could stay Philadelphia, whatever. Yeah. No, I don't care. Keep them there.
Keep them there. Don't, even though Camden is like, it is really close. It's legitimately like, it's like a suburb, an exurb,
a couple of miles
city.
Away.
Yeah. Still, keep him in Philly. We just don't do that. Please, whatever it takes, don't do that.
We should try and make Zuri pay for all of our stuff now. We should start doing that.
I think we should definitely Zuri should just like float the budget for 6 trophies.
He's the taxpayer.
I don't know how much. I don't know what you guys think I make.
He pays us out of pocket, like on his credit card, and then Wondery reimburses him later, but he's got to file like an invoice.
That's what
Can we change the name of the show?
Yes.
I have a question for you guys. Is there a city that you guys wish had an NBA team?
Seattle.
That doesn't have one currently?
Yeah, Seattle's got to get one back first. Seattle's got to get one first, for sure. Oh, I forgot the Red Bulls and Gotham FC. So there's more than just the ones I mentioned. But yes, still, New Jersey is home to many teams that pretend that they aren't in New Jersey.
I would absolutely love for the Sonics to come back. Could you imagine how exciting that would be if the NBA was like, guess what? Guess who's back?
I mean, it's going to happen at some point. And I can't wait for it for the reason that I think Sonics Thunder is going to be the craziest rivalry.
Oh my God.
In the NBA in sport. It's going to be a fucking blood rivalry.
It would be so instant.
That would be
instantly
so cool. Instantly. It would just be like bad feelings, immediate bad feelings. Of course, the Sonics, it's as an expansion team, they're not going to be good for a while. There'll be an expansion draft, and the players they will get will be the players that teams say, okay, we're fine with putting this player into an expansion pool draft. But still, the bad feelings are going to be there. The dark energy is going to be there. It's going to be crazy when that happens.
If they brought him back this offseason, I'm almost certain, having no knowledge about this at all, that Kevin Durant would be like, I'm coming back.
Imagine
Sign
that.
me up. Could you imagine if he went back to the Sonics?
Insane.
Oh my goodness.
Whatever negative, and there's always people who besmirch Kevin Durant's resume for joining the Warriors, etc. But man, if he did that, you couldn't say anything bad about him after that.
Instant hero. Hero. Do you remember when the first game that they played in OKC after Durant went to the Warriors? And he comes back home and he's got to be in that arena with the opposing jersey on, and just how tremendously fun that was. It would be like that for a whole season. If the Sonics came back, please bring them back. Next trophy. The Chief Keef, that's that shit I don't like trophy. We just give it out to a player or team who does something that we just don't like it. We don't like it. I don't like it. You don't like it, Jason. This week's winner, injuries. Boom. I hate them. The injuries, it's too much.
Yeah.
Angel Reese out for the season. Remainder of the season with a wrist injury.
Devastating.
Asia has to sit out a game because of her ankle. Like, it's just too much going on, especially right before the playoffs. Chicago might sneak into the playoffs. They might get there. And now if they get there, they don't have Angel Reese. It's not that awesome.
Yeah, I was, the Liberty did beat the Aces, a shorthanded Aces squad, very, very scrappy Aces squad that came back from like 20 down to take the lead briefly before the Liberty eventually pulled away. But that's not the way. I want to beat them full strength. And I think the league, I mean, she's the best player in the world. She's the best player in the world. And had been on a tear that was like, when you look at stats, I remember when I first discovered Basketball Reference and I'd look at old stats and you'd look I'd look at like Wilt's stats or Kareem's old stats. Like, holy shit, what the fuck? She has been on that tear last couple of weeks before she tweaked her ankle, where it was like 30, 15, and 3, and you're just like, what the fuck? And so I'd like, just get back healthy, Asia. Don't love seeing you in the walking boot. She was very active on the sidelines, which was really great. But get back healthy, because I want to see you healthy in the postseason. It just stinks. It sucks.
It does stink a bunch. We have talked a number of times about how much fun it is to watch Angel Reese play basketball. How much fun it is to just get in the shark tank and hunt, which is what she does in the paint. She ends the season with 26. She ends the season with 26 double-doubles, which is the second most in WNBA history. She set a record for 15 consecutive double-doubles. She ends the season with 446 rebounds, which is the most in WNBA history. She's probably going to finish the season as a league leader in rebounds. Just a tremendous basketball player who plays exactly the kind of basketball I love. And man, when she went down, when they made the announcement, fucking sucks. This sucks. This sucks. There's no other way to describe it other than this sucks.
I really enjoy her game. She gets a lot of criticism because, like, oh, she rebounds her own misses. You mean like Moses Malone? You mean like Moses Malone did when he was like winning MVPs? Like, is that what you're supposed to do? Is like go down there and get it? If you can't get it from her, then does that not count? I just love her game. Like, God forbid, fear for the league when she does develop her offense. Also, her last shot before she injured herself was a 3, which is crazy. God forbid she develops that. Then what are you going to do? Because she is physically dominant, defensively dominant, and just a generational rebounder already. If the rest of the stuff, when it happens, is going to make her a really fearsome player, and it stinks. It sucks that she can't be out there.
I do want to point out one of my favorite stats here, and this ties together A'ja Wilson and Angel Reese, because you mentioned her last shot being a 3 when her season is over, which is tremendous, right? A'ja Wilson in 2021 attempted 1 3-pointer for the entire season. She attempted 1, she made 1 for the entire 2021 season. In 2022, she came back. She worked on it over the offseason. She went from 1 3-pointer attempted in 2021 to 83 attempted in 2022. Like she added that. She went up by 4,000% or whatever it is. It's not like Angel Reese joked about it, but if she does that, if she develops that shot, oh my God.
God forbid. Look out. Look out. Look out.
Next trophy. The Step Brothers Catalina Wine Mixer Trophy, given out to the thing we're most excited about for the upcoming week. This week's winner, Gary Payton, who just got the head coaching job at the College of Alameda.
Coach Glove.
Go, Gary Payton. Let's talk about Gary Payton, Jason. He has to make his way to the NBA. Please, let Gary Payton coach an NBA team. I really desperately, absolutely want it. We just were talking about how great it would be if Seattle got the Sonics back. He was obviously part of their two-man iconic duo, him and Sean Kemp, that for a 3-year stretch were as good. They don't win championships, but if we're talking about just wins and losses, I think that's the only team that won more games than the Bulls during that stretch when they were together and when they were going. There's that part of it. But also, Gary Payton, one of the greatest shit talkers to have ever existed.
Ever. Yeah.
And he's still doing it.
He's still talking major
today.
Shit. Yeah.
I want an NBA coach who's just talking shit like he's a player. I want that. And who better? When Larry Bird became a coach, he said, you know what, I'm not going to bring with me this shit talking thing that I used to do. Everybody would talk about how great I was at that, but I'm going to be the stoic coach on the sideline. I'm going to be standing there with my arms crossed, right? Gary Payton shows up. I want Gary Payton to bring that with him because he brought it with him to the college games when he started coaching there. Please, Gary Payton, please somebody give him an NBA coaching job. And Gary, do what you do, baby.
I mean, he was, even as a coach, he was moving shit with 2 shovels. Here is his comments about the team he was previously coaching, Lincoln, not playing up to his standards. Quote, I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat this shit no more. We're not where we're supposed to be. We have to run a program the way it's supposed to be ran, not halfway bullshit. Tell him, Gary. Man, if you're not doing it the way Gary wants to be done, he will let you know. The glove will tell you.
Seeing Gary Payton's name just makes me happy because I just think about him in that green jersey and that snarl that he would do.
I was just going to say the snarl. The thing I always loved about Gary, because, back in the day watching Gary when I was a kid, it was hard. First of all, it was hard to watch Sonics games on the East Coast. So everything I was consuming was like inside stuff, the national game, and then whatever magazine article there was. But whatever magazine article there was, you always saw Gary with that snarl, that crooked snarl that you felt like he was in the middle of talking shit when they took the photo because it looked like he was talking it.
I think that's such a great point. The thing of we only got to see him on highlights and in features and during the playoffs. That's all you got of Gary Payton and Sean Kemp if you didn't live in Seattle. And what a tremendous thing to have in your head about a player. But man, watching him just out there turning defense into an art.
It became a thing.
At the point guard position. I think one of my favorite Gary Payton moments that I still go back and rewatch today was a moment that he wasn't even the star of. It was Jason Williams, white chocolate.
Oh, yeah. When he went
Sacramento point guard. Yeah. They're playing, I think, it's early in Jason Williams' career. I think maybe his rookie season.
Yeah.
He's still got the long floppy hair.
Yeah, I think it's
he's coming down on a slow down fast break. He hesitates at the 3-point line like he's going to pull up for 3. Payton steps toward him. Jason does the hesitation dribble and pushes it through and then goes past for a goofy off the top of the backboard layup. Yeah. But in that play, if you go back and you watch it, number one, Gary Payton tries to trip him as he goes by because he realizes
he kicks his leg out.
He realizes I got.
Yeah.
And he tries to trip him, but he misses him. And as they're coming back up court, this is and you can watch this on YouTube. It's so great. As they're going back up court, Jason Williams refuses to look at him. He talked about it afterward. He was like, I was fucking terrified. I was terrified of Gary Payton. I did not want to even look at him. But they're coming up the court, and Gary Payton is just staring at him. And Jason Williams won't look. But Gary Payton's staring at him. And Payton is smiling. he's got the look on his face like, all right, you got me. That was good. You got me. But just looking at him in this way that lets you know right there, Gary Payton is a hooper who respects hoopers.
That's right.
That's what it was. And man,
one more thing that was incredible about Gary Payton. Not a lot of players in history have a cool nickname, and the nickname is based on their defense. You don't see that. It's usually something else, like some other it's usually an offensive aspect, or it's some other thing. The glove. It was about how tight he guarded you, and you just don't see that. That was like one of the all-time cool nicknames in the NBA. The glove. Oh, it's
a tremendous nickname. Gary Payton, the first point guard ever to win Defensive Player of the Year. He does it in that wonderful 96 season. But prior to that, center. Those are the four before him. Hakeem Olajuwon and David Robinson and Dikembe Mutombo. That's who was winning Defensive Player of the Year. And then Gary Payton shows up and he's like, hold on a second. I'm in this conversation too. And then we go, I don't even know how many years it was until Marcus Smart did it 20-something years later, 18 years later, 16 years later, whatever it was. But man, Gary Payton. I was so happy when he got his championship with the Miami Heat. So happy that he got his ring. Way to go.
And now we have Gary Payton Jr. continuing the legacy.
Just keep on pumping him.
Of incredibly impactful defensive guards.
Yes. I love it. I love you, Gary Payton. If you're listening, please know there's a whole generation of us who grew up idolizing you. You want to do the little trophies?
Let's do them.
Let's do the little trophies. These ones change each week and are situation specific. They're for the smaller storylines that we want to mention, but don't need to get all the way into. My first little trophy.
I'm already laughing at your first little trophy.
This is the Colin Farrell and Daredevil I never miss trophy. How much did you love the movie Daredevil? The god-awful movie Daredevil.
The Ben Affleck Daredevil with Colin Farrell as Bullseye. Yes. I wish it was better, but I did enjoy it. I watched it in the theaters. I saw it in the theater. I went and watched it.
Jennifer Garner as Elektra.
Yeah, man.
Oh, my God. Colin Farrell is unbelievable in that movie. Just really saucing it up.
Anyway, he's putting a lot of spice on every line reading.
Every line, every look. There's a part where he walks through a metal detector in the airport, and he's got the beanie and the sunglasses and all leather, and just like strutting. He's doing his fingers like this while he struts through there. It's fucking crazy. Anyway, that trophy goes to Joe Mazzulla for saying the following: head coach, Celtics head coach, champion head coach Joe Mazzulla. People are going to say that the target is on our back, but I hope it's right on our forehead, in between our eyes. I hope I can see the red dot. My favorite NBA weirdo is already being weird again.
And he has another quote this week, Shea, that I'm just going to tell you right now.
Tell me that one.
Here it is. Joe Mazzulla, quote, "The word defend is a very passive-aggressive term. You go back to the animal kingdom. Some of the strongest animals don't defend. They're the most aggressive, and they attack the most." And by the way, I really believe that Joe is this way because he feels like he needs to fire up his team. To that end, Jason Tatum recently announced, I think on the same day that this quote emerged, recently announced that he's releasing a children's book called Baby Dunks a Lot. And I really believe that everything that Mazzulla does is aimed at Jason Tatum. He says in this interview that you can find on CBS Mornings, where he's talking about the book, when he's asked, hey, the Celtics going to repeat? He said, in part, that's not our mindset. So I really believe that every Mazzulla quote is aimed at Jason Tatum. The red dot is on his head. He's Jason Tatum's I'm out here promoting Baby Dunks a Lot. And Joe Mazzulla is texting him animal attack videos. My first little trophy. All my little trophies are going to honor the memory of the icon, the legend, James Earl Jones, my first little trophy. The Bob Marley and the Wailers. I'm on the rock, then I check a stock. I have to run like a fugitive to save the life I live. I'm gonna be iron like a lion in Zion Trophy 2 to James Earl Jones as Mufasa. Mufasa. What an incredible, legendary role. Mufasa. Love it.
I tweeted this after the...
Oh, yeah, play it, Zuri. Yeah, drop it. Drop some Mufasa on us.
Don't turn your back on me, Scar. You are more than what you have become.
Whoa! Oh, my God, that voice.
I tweeted this after a little while after the news came out or after I saw it. If you can put up on the screen as a movie performer, as an actor, if you can put up on the screen even one like all-time iconic performance.
Just one.
Like just one. If you can do one, if you can be Anthony Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs, you go down as one of the all-time greats. One of the all-time greats. And he did it. James Earl Jones did it.
Again and again and again and again.
A minimum of 4 times. Yeah. A minimum of 4. Like at the absolute least, he did it 4 times. Fucking crazy. My next little trophy. The LeBron James, after winning his first championship, it's about damn time trophy.
It's about damn time.
Woo!
It's about damn time.
I love LeBron. That trophy goes to the Minnesota Lynx for finally retiring Maya Moore's jersey.
The legend.
They should have retired it while she was playing. That's what they should have done.
Has that ever happened? That should be a move. You just do it like on their last day, just like put it up, take it off them, and put it up immediately into the rafters.
I think on the first playoff game of this postseason, the Las Vegas Aces should retire Asia Wilson's jersey. Just put it in the rafters before the game starts.
Yeah. My next little trophy is the Miles Davis, a tribute to Jack Johnson trophy to James Earl Jones, who played Jack Johnson in the stage version and the film version of A Great White Hope. Jack Johnson, the legendary boxer.
My last little trophy, the Chris Rock, lie to me, Jerry, lie to me trophy to Trae Young for saying if he was 6'8", he would be the best player ever to play this game. Just lie to me, Trae. Yes, if you were 6'8", you would be the greatest basketball player who has ever lived. All you have to be is 6'8". That's the only thing you're missing.
What do you think when you hear stuff like this? There's no doubt that his proverbial ceiling, would go up. Like, I think there would be a world in which he is a better player. The best in the world is crazy.
The best ever to ever play this game.
Yeah, best ever is crazy.
So when I saw this quote, I thought 3 things. Number 1, this makes me like Trae even more than I already liked him. I love Trae Young. Great. I was trying to get him on the Spurs. I want Trae Young. I like Trae Young as a basketball player. That was the first thing I thought. The second thing I thought was, you're not even the best like 6'1" guy that we've seen.
No,
like you know what I mean?
That's the issue. That's really the issue.
Iverson was an inch shorter than you, and he's Allen Iverson. You know what I mean? Like, Chris Paul is 6'1" also. What are we doing?
Yeah.
That was the second thing. The third thing I thought, anytime somebody's like, if I was just this, I would be that, as I think of Muggsy Bogues. I think Muggsy Bogues ruined that lie for every single person. Because I said a version of this same thing. Man, if I was 6'3", I would be in the NBA. I got the game. If I was 6'3", fucking Muggsy Bogues come along, 5'3", makes it to the NBA, and you realize, you don't have the thing. Because if you had the thing, you would be in the NBA like Muggsy Bogues was in the NBA.
Yeah. See, I feel a similar way where at my height, just under 6 foot, I could have made the NBA, as I've said on this podcast. I could have made the NBA. I just didn't. It's been done. It's been done. I want to forge my own path. Do I want to be one of like 4,000 people that played in the NBA, or do I want to be the first me? I want to be the first me.
I think the other way for me, I think if I was shorter, I would be in the NBA. Yeah. I grew too big. If I was 3 inches shorter, just 3 inches shorter, I would be in the NBA.
Right. My last little trophy is the Usher Daddy's Home trophy to James Earl Jones as Darth Vader playing the clip, Zuri.
I'm your father.
What if he had said, I am your daddy? I search your feelings. I am your daddy. You know it to be true. No!
One of the things I was most excited about a few weeks ago is I was doing my thing where I'm at the flea markets and thrift stores hunting for VHS tapes. And I found, you can see it right here behind me, I found an original Star Wars.
Oh, hell
like
yeah.
Like an original copy of it. And it was $2.
Whoa!
Oh, yeah. That's why you go to the flea markets and thrift stores rather than buying it off eBay. We did it again, Jason.
We did it again.
Another perfect episode. Flawless. We close every episode just by saying the names of underappreciated old basketball players with no context at all while the theme music carries us out. Zuri, will you play the theme music, please? I'm Shea Serrano. That's Jason Concepcion. Producer Zuri in the shadows making the noises. See y'all next Wednesday. I'm doing James Earl Jones movies.
Oh, I love it.
The Lion King.
Nice. I'm doing former Nikola Jokic teammates. Kenneth Fareed.
Field of Dreams.
Oh, great one.
One of the great speeches.
Jameer Nelson.
Yes.
Nuggets legend.
Yes. Coming to America.
Roy Hibbert. Don't forget about Roy.